Going live. Whitney Young football is on the air. We are here at historic Fritz Pollard Field, Lane Stadium at Lane Tech, where the Whitney Young Dolphins host the Morgan Park Mustangs. I'm Barry Newman, joined tonight by Jack Wildermuth. Jack, good to have you, man.
So happy to be back in the booth with you, Barry. Another great year of Dolphin football.
Yeah, we are looking forward to tonight's action. So Dolphins come in 1-1, opening week loss to Hope, followed by a nice win 28-8 last week against Perspectives. Facing today Morgan Park Mustangs. So Morgan Park, they're also 1-1. First week shutout win over Richards, and then they faced off against the number one team in Illinois last week against Mount Carmel, and slugged out 22-12 game that they lost. But this Morgan Park team, and we'll talk a lot about them tonight, they are referred by many people as the top team in CPS. So they're ranked right now in overall Chicagoland area of all teams, of all size schools, as the number 15 in the Sun Times poll. And then they play in the 8A division at the state level, and they're ranked 5th right now in state. So when I was thinking about it, Jack, I thought this is kind of a steep hill for the Dolphins to climb tonight. Steep as in, I don't know, El Capitan in Yosemite.
That might be maybe K2.
Yeah. It's a little longer slog, but here's the thing: people have done it.
People have done it. And a lot. Dolphins have a lot back from last year, where we played some challenging opponents as well. And on a beautiful Friday night here on the north side, you never know.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, let's jump Morgan Park, just because not as many of our viewers are necessarily familiar with them. So Morgan Park, again, historic program. Last year they finished 10-2 overall, advanced to the third round of the IHSA playoffs. And they have qualified for the IHSA playoffs 21 of the past 22 seasons. So Chris James, who's got a 30-17 record overall, has a great program. We'll talk a lot about these guys tonight. There are a lot of guys with D1 offers, a lot of guys coming off of all-state, all-city type teams. I actually had a chance to catch up with Coach Finger, who reflected on tonight's game, but also took a trip down memory lane a bit as well for the last matchup between Morgan Park and Whitney Young. Here's what Coach Finger had to say.
All right, I'm here with Coach Dan Finger. Coach Finger, nice showing last Friday night by your Dolphins against Perspectives. Give us your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, there was a lot of good, especially in the first half. And a lot to build on too. So, I thought we came out sharp and physical, and that's what we talked about before the game was going out there and not hesitating and not, wincing or cringing or avoiding any sort of physical conflict, but creating it ourselves. And I think we took advantage of that mentality, right away defensively and offensively. And I think we only punted once in that first half, and we got a good 2-minute drill. And then second half, I think we came out a little complacent. A lot of pre-snap penalties, just losing focus. And but we brought it together a little bit and held strong defensively and got a lot of, guys who didn't have a lot of playing experience into the game as well, which was a really good thing. And at the end of the day, we never want to take winning for granted. It's fun. It makes it's not why we do what we do, but it is they keep score for a reason. So that's always the goal and the objective. And we weren't totally pleased with how we won, but we are pleased that we won. So.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of things there. I mean, I'm looking back on it. It's like one of the most balanced games that we've played in a long time. Offensively, you got a rushing game going, and then the scores were out of the passing game for the most part. So good balance there. And also defensive performance. They were trying a bunch of different things, and you just kept being able to shut it down with a team that was missing a heck of a lot of starters. So.
Yeah, and, we didn't create the takeaways we wanted to, but there weren't that many opportunities. There weren't that many passes thrown. we tackled and stopped the run game well. I think we had way more plays offensively than they did offensively, so that's always going to be difficult to create more turnovers when you're limiting their first downs. So, there was a lot of really good stuff from guys who aren't, I know Aaron Champion, it was his first real varsity action, and he's got a couple TFLs and some really big plays, and other guys, Javon Hobbs with his first PBU of the season, and I know we had a whole new 11 defensively in there for the last part of the fourth quarter, so it was really good to see those guys who work really hard on scout team and practice, all summer and in the weight room all spring, and get to see them go out there and play against guys in a different jersey and really show what they're all about. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great. So let's pivot to Morgan Park. So Morgan Park, I think I looked it up. I think they've gone to the state tournament 21 of the last 22 years. Sun Times is calling them clearly the top CPS team. They were coming off a loss to Mount Carmel, who is one of the best teams in the country. What's your view? I mean, looking up and down, a lot of 3-star, 4-star kids, a lot of kids. There's a Georgia offer on the table. There's an Illinois commit, so there's a lot of talent. What are your reflections coming into this week's game?
Yeah, it's always exciting when you get to play Morgan Park. Since I was a player in CPS, they were the pinnacle. Hubbard, had some claim to it. Simeon had some claim to it, but Morgan Park's been the most consistent since the 90s and has been the most talented for a lot of those years as well. So it's always exciting when you get that challenge, right? We talk a lot in our program about how we do things and not necessarily what we do. And so, how we prepare is crucial every week. And it's especially exciting for me and challenging when we get that kind of challenge. When you get to say, all right, man, these guys just played the best team in the state, and they had the closest margin of victory that team's had at home in a very long time. And, we get to test ourselves now. Now they get to come to our place. They just went from Mount Carmel, now they come to Whitney Young. And that's exciting for us. And, yeah, guys, there's a lot of guys who project to be really good players at the next level, and they're super talented kids and good football players. And now we get to test our scheme, our technique, our effort, our focus up against that. And that's why you do this, right? That's why you're a competitor. And I'm excited about it. I think our kids are too. They've been locked in on film already, asking about it. To unveil behind the curtain, we're interviewing on Monday. So kids have been watching a lot of film over the Labor Day weekend. So we're excited about that. They're clearly ready to go and attack a new challenge, and that gets me pumped up as a coach.
All right, very good. I'm going to take a trip down memory lane here because I did look back to see the last time we played Morgan Park, and it happened to be your senior season. It was CPS playoffs. Final score was 7-6. That's all I know about the game. What are your memories of that game?
Well, I'm going to get a chance to brag on myself here, but I had 2 picks in that game. We had a really good week of prep. Morgan Park was really talented. Clear favorite rather in that game that we played my senior year. But we just had a really good group of guys that didn't want to be done with football. We weren't ready to call it a high school career. We weren't ready to stop playing with and for each other. And we put in an unreal week of practice and really muddy Friday night game. And I had 2 picks, and I know Barrett Morissette at Morgan Park ran back the opening kickoff of that game. So it was 6-0 early, and we blocked the extra point, and I think it was Garland Gay got it, and we had a holding call. I think it was Coach Eddie. He just said who got a holding call. We scored on the second to last play of the first half, and it comes back 40 yards. So it's 6-0 going into halftime, and we just kept sticking to our game plan. And Barrett Morissette had a 25 or 30 yard touchdown run with about a minute and a half left in the game to give us, and then Adam Durdewan. I had the hold from Jim Daniels, Adam Durdewan with the extra point. We go up, and I had a pick to seal the game there, and we were just so elated afterwards. It was just what a high school football is all about. We were not favored to win it. It wasn't pretty. I'm sure the TV ratings would have been garbage just based on the state of play. But we found a way to scrap one out and play another week for each other in the playoffs. And, that's what you're trying to do when you're overmatched talent-wise or speed-wise or whatever it is. You're just trying to do your job and play violent and fast and for the guy next to you. And we were able to do that. So that's one of my fondest memories, certainly, of my high school football career.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Coach. I hope we make some memories here tonight. Go Dolphins.
Thanks. Go Dolphins.
All right, so that was a lot of fun. I brought that up after practice on Monday to Coach Finger and to Coach Eddie. They were both standing there, and just Coach Finger's face just lit up, right? He knew exactly what he was saying. And then he remembered that holding call that took a touchdown off the board for Whitney Young, and Coach Eddie's like, yeah, that was me. So love those guys for their honesty and their engagement on everything. Is great. So let me throw some other notes out here for you. We're going to do a few notes on the Dolphins side of things. So after last week's game, Anthony Hood had a touchdown catch. That was his 16th career touchdown. So Anthony had a touchdown the first game he ever played as a Whitney Young Dolphin as a freshman, and now he's recorded his 16th. Some of those receiving, some of those rushing, and one on a actually a fumble return. It was a Pat McHale interception that bounced that got jarred out of Pat's arms and then into Anthony's. Anthony ran in for a touchdown. So last week, another note: 3 touchdown passes from Bennett Newman, which was the most in a game for a Dolphins quarterback since Pat Herbig threw 3 versus the Chicago Military Academy in 2019. And so you know how I always try to tie things together. So one of Herbig's TD passes that day was caught by Amir Abdullah. And Abdullah, if you follow the Whitney Young social media accounts, you saw some things that Coach Finger and Coach Boucher posted, because Abdullah is now playing at Illinois State. He's a linebacker, and he led the Redbirds with 8 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss in their 41-0 shutout of Dayton.
Nice win there. The Flyers are a historically strong program for sure.
Yeah, that's in your neighborhood, isn't it?
That that really is. And
I forgot to announce you as the pride of Sydney, Ohio, right?
Oh, thank you, Barry. I appreciate that. Sydney, Ohio, on the other side of the state from Akron. Some good football there.
Yeah. Well, and that was a solid segue for me. Thank you very much. The note on Akron, as you all know. Quinn Duhan, the Duhan family with roots in Akron. His dad played there for one of the historic programs. And Quinn missed last week with a hamstring injury, but is back. I can actually, let's see. Well, I could probably get him in focus here. Let's see. Quinn's down on the field right there. So Quinn is back. We'll see if he plays on both sides of the ball. I mean, he's a guy that last year probably never came off the field. So Duhan's back. We do have some injury notes. Not as positive of news. Again, a bunch of guys that we hope to see back next week, but will still be out this week, is Tyson Hayes. So starting strong safety linebacker Tyson Hayes, who also gets some time on the offensive side of the ball. BG3, Barry Gordon III, who was starting at both tight end and a linebacker position, had a really nice game against Hope, his first varsity touchdown catch, but he's out, but again, hopefully back. Joseph Gray, also a sophomore, but starting at wide receiver and at linebacker in that Hope game. He's going to be out this week as well, along with Rico D'Alessandro and Darian Kostoff. So we'll miss those guys tonight. I mean, it's going to be all hands on deck. I will say, and Coach Finger mentioned it as well, a lot of solid performances from a number of guys who hadn't had a ton of snaps before. He mentioned Aaron Champion in the game. I know Brian Pantoja played a really nice game in defensive backfield. And then what it also did is that the first game against Hope, Anthony Hood was just playing on offense. They put Anthony back on defense as well, and he had a really nice week last week. So, again, and a lot of those guys getting more time. So Coach mentioned Javon Hobbs. Javon Hobbs is a senior, but his first year of playing football. He's a basketball player at Whitney Young, but he's playing on one of the cornerback positions. So Hobbs, Maxwell Warner at the other corner, who's a sophomore, who just started playing football last year. Each rep that those guys get really helps them out. Now, they're going to need that tonight because as we've mentioned, we'll give you some of the names and numbers of those guys from Morgan Park that we're going to be looking out for. So they have many top players. Number 3, Chris Durr. He's got a great name, great nickname. He is the Slim Reaper.
The Slim Reaper.
Yep. So Durr, who's 6 foot 175,
Ooh, yeah.
last year had actually this year so far has 15 catches, 208 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Chris Durr also already he's a senior. He's got offers from Louisville, Army. So there you go. Jack Wildermuth, a graduate of West Point.
Happy to chat with young Chris Durr, and good luck to that young man if he does choose that route.
Yeah. Also offer from Penn. He's got the 4.0 GPA guy. So that's going to be number 3, Chris Durr, wide receiver. They're also their quarterback, Marcus Thaxton. Hang on one second. I don't think we're going to make the switch. I mean, you're going to have to go with that because I'm talking to our camera guy here. We're ready. We're 2 minutes before we're going to go to the game. So you'll just have to, we'll have to deal with the tripod and camera setup that we have right now. So Marcus Thaxton is their junior quarterback. Thaxton was a second team All-City last year. Their coach, Chris James, talks a lot about him as being the best quarterback in CPS. So far this year, he's 25 of 47 for 303 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. He doesn't have official offers, but he'll get one at some point. Interest already from Cincinnati and Miami of Ohio. So Ellison Newman, there's your shout-out. Hut girls, if you're watching the live stream down at Miami of Ohio, keep your eyes on number 4, Marcus Thaxton of Morgan Park. He would like to supplant Brett Gabbert. And Av Smith as a quarterback in the lineage of Miami of Ohio quarterbacks. And then I'm kind of burying the lead here as a journalist. So number 5 for Morgan Park is Jovan Clark. So Jovan is a junior linebacker, 6 foot 195. Jovan Clark also gets some action at running back. Jovan has an offer from Georgia. So that's not messing around. 2-time defending national champion Georgia saw Jovan Clark play and made him an offer. So we'll be calling Jovan Clark's name a little bit tonight, and then maybe rounding it out. Tyshawn Griffin, number 1 on Morgan Park. Tyshawn is already committed to go to Illinois. So he was an All-State guy last year. And a key part. It's actually kind of interesting. Last year, I think he ran much more out of a traditional setup in the backfield. This year, they've been kind of pounding the ball up the middle on the film that I've watched, pounding the ball up the middle with number 9, Terrence Gurley, and Keyshawn Lewis Hunt, number 24. And then Griffin's been running a lot of jet sweep stuff, and they're finding ways to get him the ball. So all that said, I mean, there's a ton of talent on this team. Jack and I were talking earlier, all of that speed and athleticism on the that is on sort of the wide receiver, quarterback, running back side of things. All that flips over on the other side when it comes to defense. And that's where this Morgan Park team has really made their mark over the last couple of years. So you're going to, this will be a challenge. This is going to be a challenge for the Dolphins offensively. Hopefully get a run game going. That's what was real good last week, is that we saw a lot of production out of Yolich and Clayton in the early downs, which then gave the Dolphins some opportunities to open up on that passing game. Hopefully that happens tonight, because if you just have to pass against these guys, you're talking about an entire defensive backfield that's going to play at the Division I level. So that could be that steep hill that we have to climb, but it'll be fun.
Well, I think getting off to your point, Barry, getting off to a good start is going to be significant here. So we're able to maybe control the clock for a bit and limit the explosive plays from the Mustangs, which is going to be tough. And speaking of University of Illinois, they're playing tonight in Kansas, so we could have a competition for viewers. I think based on the viewership that Barry has built, however, I would think that we're gonna compete directly with that game.
Well, let's try to do it. Let's try to do that. And it's a credit to all of our listeners out there. It's a credit to the Godfather, Tony McHale. If you're listening in, thanks for helping us get on air tonight in so many different ways. And my string continues 2.5 seasons of doing live streams, and I still have no idea who won the toss. But it appears that perhaps we won the toss and deferred. That kind of seems like we might be lining up more in a kicking position. So let's talk about some of the I see that's Miles Bardsma out there. So that's Miles with a T. Not in his name, but in his hand, the tee that he will be using to tee up the ball and kick off. So the Whitney Young Dolphins will be kicking off to Morgan Park. Looks like deep to receive from Morgan Park, number 7, Jonathan Weisinger. Weisinger already has a touchdown grab on the season. Looks like also number 8, KJ Hayes might be back. He might be an up guy. Some of the special teamers out there, Nas Rankin, number 1. Number 26, Maxwell Warner. Number 17, Aaron Champion. Number 8, Brian Pantoja on that side. Other side, looks like we have somebody wearing 28. We're going to have to figure out who that is because I don't have them as a 28. 20 is Lorenzo Rivas. 22 is Javon Hobbs. Trying to get all these guys as long as we're still working on getting things teed up here. So here we are. Awesome Friday night, Jack. Miles Bardsma hits a line shot.
Oh, good kick. Get there.
And rolls into the end zone for a
touchback.
So dealing with some of this speed on this roster. Nice to just kick it through the end zone and not have to make a special teams tackle there.
Nice to pin him back at the 20.
So again, Morgan Park's going to come out. Numbers not too bad to read here tonight, so that's good. Number 4 is Marcus Thaxton. That's their quarterback. Looks like he's going to have number 9, Terrence Gurley, next to him in the backfield. Trips to the left. 3 wide receivers to our left. Thaxton's right. So Marcus Thaxton, again, second team, all CPS last year as a sophomore. High snap. He's got some time. He's looking deep. He's looking way deep. That's number 7 with a catch. That's Jonathan Weisinger. So Morgan Park did not hesitate to pull the trigger and go deep.
Yeah, nice pass. Receiver was open. Time to stiffen up Dolphins D.
Yep. So defensive line, Baba Nefasimi Opedele, Nick Dale, and Juan Cepeda to start with. Linebackers, Joseph Clayton, whose name we will call a bunch tonight, and Luke Yolich. Yolich stepping down to that linebacker position. Thaxton, high snap, inside handoff, stacked up right in the middle.
Play.
Was that Clayton getting through there right off the bat? I think so. I think Clayton shooting the gap on that. So that was a nice job. Loss of 2 on that first down play. Brings up 2nd down and 12. 2nd down and 12. Thaxton looking over to the sidelines for the play. He's got Terrence Gurley in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to his left with 1 in the slot. Stadium gets awful quiet. High snap. He's got time. There's deep throw, well defended, but caught for a touchdown.
Amazing catch.
That was a heck of a catch. Working on trying to get that number over there. I think that might have been Corey Harris. So that's what Morgan Park can do. They had time, and Thaxton connects with, still working on, I think maybe his number 13.
Number 13?
Yeah, number 13, Amari Block-Tyler. So Amari Block-Tyler, and they're going to go for 2.
Yeah, nice defense by the Dolphins there. Just a really kind of a special play by the receiver.
Yeah, he just he went over the top of the Dolphin defender. So snap, zinged in there and dropped by number 7, Jonathan Weisinger. So less than 2 minutes off the board, and Morgan Park takes it the distance of the field with 2 long passes. One to Jonathan Weisinger from Marcus Thaxton. The next, the touchdown throw to Amari Block Tyler. So that puts Morgan Park on top, 6-0.
So Dolphins will receive the ball. They'll move from north to south here at beautiful Addison Street. The Cubs had a game this afternoon. The weather is looking more positive, kind of a rainy day, and hopefully we can make something happen on our first drive.
Yep, absolutely. So it's going to be a game where I think going to be a little bit of a track meet here. So let's see if did you say hold serve? Is that a proper?
After the
onside kick attempt, and Morgan Park recovers it. Let's see if it was.
I think it barely made 10 yards. I think the kicker recovered his own.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Morgan Park, they do this stuff. You've got to be alert. And right off the bat, Morgan Park picks up their second possession on that fake kick that was recovered immediately. And I do think that you're right. I think that was the old kicker dribbled it in front, and it was really well executed because a lot of times teams are jumping on that ball too early on an onside kick, but he waited just until it was past the 10 yards, jumped on it, and Morgan Park and Marcus Thaxton are back in business. 6-0 here, 10:14 left in the first quarter. They've got 5 receivers, empty backfield. There's Tayshawn Griffin, who gets the pitch, nicely pursued by Baba Nefasimi Opadelli.
Nice play.
Great play. So that's number 1 is Tayshawn Griffin. He's the Illinois commit, and Baba Nefasimi from his D-line position tracked him down, and there was a flag on the call as well. So I think there was a flag, a holding call, I do believe. So this is going to back the Mustangs up 10 yards. So it'll be a repeat of first down, I do believe. But Morgan Park backed up to their 42-yard line. Let's see if the positive plays for the Dolphins can continue. So again, Morgan Park goes with an empty backfield. Thaxton back there by himself, and this is something that, my God, I watched this on film. So this is something that they'll do 4 or 5 times a game. They do this the old school Dallas Cowboys. Quarterback claps, everybody stands up straight, and defense jumps off
The
sides.
lineman reset. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So in the Mount Carmel game, I think they ran it 4 times. Mount Carmel stood firm the first 3 and didn't jump off sides, and the 4th time they jumped off sides, and you could tell it was something that they had worked on all week. So we're 0 for 1 right now on that. So that takes it to 1st and 15. Thaxton looking for a quick one right to Griffin. Luke Yolich.
Nice tackle
hanging
by Luke.
on. Yep, great job. No gain on the play. So, yeah, they were looking for ways to get Griffin the ball. That was a jet sweep that Baba Nefasimi Opadelli took him down on first down, and now Yolich on second down. So Morgan Park is one of those teams where they're signaling in plays. You know, a lot of these teams, like the Dolphins, will run the quarterback over to the sideline. So Morgan Park back on the ball, ready to go again. Thaxton, I think that's Gurley behind him. High snap, inside handoff, just hammer swallowed up by the entire defensive line. Looks like Baba Nefasimi Opadelli, Clayton Yolich all in on that. So great penetration by the D-line.
Nice to see a pod of Dolphins.
That was a pod.
Making that tackle.
So Nick Dale also on the nose. Nick had a phenomenal game last week. So that line, Cepeda, Dale, Opadelli. So brings up 3rd and long. So this Dolphins have an opportunity here. So again, Same thing. They do the thing. So now we're 0 for 2 on this. 0 for 2 on the stand-up play. So they'll pick up 5 yards. So it'll go to 3rd and 10.
The refs are talking it over a bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change. Not going to change. Oh, they're actually calling it on Morgan Park.
Dolphin.
It is going to change.
I saw a motion from the referee indicated maybe the center moved the ball.
Okay,
first.
All right. So the finer points, and I'm sure that this refereeing crew also is watching film and is well versed in what Morgan Park does. And so I don't know all the nuances of how you can do that legally versus what's illegal, but there we go. All right, we're 1 for 2 now. 1 for 2 on that little shenanigans. So Thaxton, 3rd down, 3rd and 20. Nice blitz up the middle. He had to go early, but wide receiver is open and running down the field across the 20, still weaving his way across the 15. That, again, is number 13, Amari Block-Tyler. Amari Block-Tyler with another reception. He had that touchdown earlier. So this is what Morgan Park can do. And there was some good pressure there. I think that was Aaron Champion that came in on a blitz, made Thaxton unload it earlier than he probably wanted to. But the Morgan Park, the Mustang receivers, continuing to make plays downfield. So now Thaxton checks in. It's his with 2 running backs. He's got Keyshawn Lewis, Hunt to number 24, and Gurley to his left and to his right. Waiting for the snap. He's got the snap. Nicely done.
Play.
Again, great penetration. I think that's Juan Cepeda with the tackle. So great penetration on those inside runs. Dolphin D-line doing their job
great.
here. So loss of 3 on that play. So again, Nick Dale on the nose, Baba Nefasimi Opedele at the right end, Juan Buster Cepeda at the left end, doing their job up front. All right, now we're 2 for 3 on that. That was just the stand-up play. I'm gonna stop calling that. I'm sick of it already. You all can keep track of that at home on your own. Thaxton waiting for the snap. Gets the snap, back, zings it over the middle.
Oh.
Pass broken up nicely. Quinn Duhan. Quinn Duhan introducing himself to Stanley Thompson. I'm not sure Stanley was so fond of the introduction.
Nice hit. The Duhan family as the cowbell going up here in the Whitney Young fan section.
Yeah, baby. Nice
hit.
to have Quinn back on the field. Hamstring looked just fine there. So that brings up 3rd and 13. Dolphin D needs to rise up on 3rd down here. Thaxton in the backfield. Thaxton is the quarterback. Terrence Gurley moves to the slot. So you've got 5 wide receivers for Thaxton to look at. He's had some time to survey the field. Deep safeties for the Dolphins are Hood and Duhan. Thaxton looks to the right, and he zings one for a touchdown, and that is Tyshawn Griffin. So the Illinois commit. And again, Thaxton can put some heat on it. He got Griffin coming across the middle, found that spot in the Dolphins zone, and rifled it in there for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was college level route and pass.
Yeah. Yep. Griffin's got a great first step. It'll be interesting. I don't know if the thought on him at the college level is as a receiver. He just listed as an athlete. So 2-point conversion, lofted up, and a touchdown, or a 2-point to Jameer Washington. So Jameer Washington, Thaxton to Washington for the 2-point conversion. So I'd say time of possession right now is fully in favor of the Morgan Park Mustangs because they drove the length of the field for a touchdown on their first drive. Then they recovered the onside kick. Dolphins had them in a position, a 3rd and long, a 3rd and 20, Long pass completion from Thaxton. Then another third down with the touchdown toss to Griffin, and now the 2-point conversion. So El Capitan. Thaxton's got some pretty solid numbers. Brian Barrett, thanks. 5 for 5, 148, 2 touchdowns for Marcus Thaxton so far.
Let's hope the special teams are on the lookout again here.
Morgan Park had it lined up at the 35, but needs to move it up to the 40. Deep for the Dolphins, number 26, Maxwell Warner, and number 1, Nasir Rankin. Those guys are itching to get the ball in their hands. So the kick is to an up back. Brandon Dockett. Dockett up the middle. Cuts it to the outside. Go Brandon Dockett.
Woo!
Across the 50-yard line. Brandon
great
Dockett,
return.
he can hit the accelerator on that.
Showing the speed. It's beautiful.
Did a nice job, too, of just getting there, getting to the
Don't
hole.
hesitate.
Heading south.
Straight south here.
All right. So hopefully that's a little bit of juice for the Dolphins. Bennett Newman, quarterback. Receivers, Will the Thrill DeMille will be high to the right-hand side. Joseph Clayton also spreading out. Oh, actually, it's not Newman. Anthony Hood starting the game in the Wildcat position. Hood at quarterback. Hood looking for a spot, heads it up behind his blockers, picks up 5 yards. Yep. So good job by the Dolphins. Starting off with Hood in the lineup at the quarterback position, trying to, I think, as well, like just get the clock in our ticking a little bit more in our favor. Gives them another option from a running perspective. So Hood in there, Clayton at running back. Offensive line, as you know, anchored by Nick Dale in the middle. Guards are Juan Cepeda, Babanefasimi Opedele, MJ Woods at the left tackle, and Jason Perez at the right tackle. They had a great game last week against Perspective, so let's see what they can do against the Morgan Park Mustangs. So Hood looking to his left. Knight finds a crease in there for positive yardage. Hood probably picked up 2. Going to bring up a third down and about 4 yards. So now Boucher. Bennett Newman is next to Eddie Boucher. It looks like Newman is checking in for the third down play. So 3rd and 4. So now maybe a more traditional look for the Dolphin offense. So again, on defense, we mentioned for Morgan Park, number 5, Javon Clark is in the middle linebacker. He's got a Georgia offer. So Newman fumbles the ball, and I believe Morgan Park ended up back on top of it. So Newman didn't handle the snap cleanly.
It's like 25 Mekhi Hubbard with the recovery for the Mustangs.
Yep, I think Newman jammed his fingers on that play too, trying to get back on top of that. So hopefully he gets over here and is able to throw the football around a little bit. So a turnover for the Dolphins on 3rd down puts the Mustang offense back on the field. So D-line, a little bit of a shift up there. Boubacar Berry in at the nose, giving Nick Dale a blow. Cepeda and Babanefasimi Opedele. Corners, you got Maxwell Warner closest to us, Aaron Champion in the slot. Hood and Duhan as a deep safeties. Motion, jet sweep for the Mustangs. That's number 13, our guy tonight, Amari Block Tyler, with the first down run. So first down run, a little jet sweep action. I don't want to jinx us here. Well, I don't know if it would be a jinx. Chris Durr hasn't caught the ball yet, the Slim Reaper. Thaxton, motion man, little 7 Javon Weisinger running into Terrence Gurley. So give the tackle to Gurley. Gurley, the running back for the Mustangs. So a little bit messed up on the exchange there. So loss of 3 yards. Loss of 3 on that messed up exchange between Weisinger and Gurley. Again, 2:37 left here in the first quarter. Morgan Park with a 14-0 lead. Thaxton waiting for the snap. Thaxton with some time, swings it over to Gurley. Duhan trips him up.
Nice tackle.
Yeah, so all that, Duhan closed on him from his safety position. 3-yard gain. So brings up 3rd and 10. Real nice job, Quinn Duhan. He's had a heck of a game so far, as we would expect. So 3rd and 10. 3rd down has been a little bit of our bugaboo here, and Morgan Park also is a team, and this is 4-down territory for them. For regardless of the situation, they tend to keep the accelerator down. So 3rd and 10 at the Dolphin 37-yard line. Thaxton, the quarterback. Do not think. So Thaxton back. He's got some time. He's looking in the middle.
Good ball.
He's got to Tyshawn Griffin for the touchdown. So just shredded the middle of that. Shredded the middle of the Dolphin zone. Right between Hood and Duhan. Griffin just ran a post route, old school post route right down the middle, and Thaxton found him in stride for the touchdown. So 1:25 left here in the first quarter. Morgan Park on top 20-0. Thaxton with the snap, zings it over, back shoulder. Catch was good. See, these guys are good. I mean, that's I think that might have been, well, I was going to say that was, I think that's back to Amari Block Tyler again on that catch. So he just, he back shouldered him, and Thaxton throws it with a lot of heat, and his receivers have caught everything that's come their way. Got a Dolphin down on the field right now. So watching Dolphin quarterback Bennett Newman warming up here. Looks like they put some tape.
Okay.
I thought it was fingers. It might have been a wrist. So it looks like they put some duct tape on his wrist. That's what you use, right?
That's what you would use in places like Akron.
In Akron, Random Lake, Wisconsin, Sydney, Ohio.
Places like that. That's how you would do it. Definitely. It looks like he has that good the good DNA. He's going to get right back in there.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see that. Well, it's a nice night out.
It's a beautiful night here on just west of Wrigley Field, and we had the burst of speed on the kickoff return. That was a sign we're heading southbound there for a bit. Hopefully we can get some offense going. It's going to be tough to stop this. The Morgan Park offense is just very efficient in the passing game. I don't know if we'll see much more like that the rest of the year.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, it will be fun to watch. Not this team tonight, but it'll be fun to watch Morgan Park as they progress through their schedule. And so they, I think, let me look at my notes here. But they, again, as sort of the class of CPS, they face Phillips next week. So Phillips, as our Whitney Young Dolphin fans know, I mean, Phillips a solid program. Maybe a little, they've graduated a few guys that have gone on, played at the college level. So hard to tell this early in the year. So that'll be a test for them. Then they have Perspectives, Amundsen. The game that I'm sure a lot of people are circling on their schedules is the October 7th game against Kenwood. So Kenwood, like this Morgan Park team, Kenwood has Marquise Lightfoot, who Marquise Lightfoot is going to Arizona State. He's got a bunch of offers, and also Amarian Stewart. So Amarian Stewart transferred to Kenwood from Bolingbrook. He is one of the top guys in the state at that wide receiver position. So that Kenwood Morgan Park game on the 7th of October is going to be something to watch. And then they have Brooks the following week, and they close the regular season against Simeon.
That should be a fun one.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting. It's like one of the reasons that CPS keeps sort of fine-tuning the playoffs or the division alignment is they do want teams like Morgan Park facing Simeon, facing Kenwood, facing Phillips, the teams within CPS that have these historic programs. They want them to be able to play that competition during the season, so then when the state rolls around, they have faced that high level of competition. So it looks like we've got coming off the field, I think it's Boubacar Berry coming off slowly but surely, and that's the most important thing. Boubacar coming off slowly but surely. He had a nice game last week on the nose against Perspectives. So back to the action. Morgan Park ready to kick it off. Kicking it, line drive. That goes to Nazir Rankin. Rankin trying to get to the outside to the 20 to the 22-yard line. So Rankin advances the ball to the 22-yard line. Looks like the Dolphins are going to stick with the Wildcat setup right now with Hood in. So again, going through our starting offense, Hood running at the quarterback position. Nick Dale, Opadele, Cepeda in the middle of that line. MJ Woods and Jason Perez as the outside guys. Number 8 checking in is Brian Pantoja at a wide receiver position, along with DeMille, Harrison Gassa, though. So Hood keeps it himself. Getting to the outside, around Griffin. He gets upended, but positive gainer, so 5 yards, 5-6 yards over there for Hood, who pulled it. Couldn't thought it a nice fake. All right, so he faked the ball to Clayton on a little read option. So Hood's going to come back over, collect the play from Eddie Boucher. We're rolling down to just about the 30 seconds left here in the first quarter. Again, we've got Morgan Park Mustangs on top of Whitney Young, 22-0. Anthony Hood back in. Anthony, again, we mentioned on the open, 16 touchdowns in his Whitney Young career. Currently leading the team in receiving yardage. So 2nd down and 5. Hood with Clayton. Hood going to keep it himself.
Power sweep
left. Some nice blocks.
Some pulling guards.
Picked up 3. So that's the end of the first quarter. End of the first quarter. Dolphins coming up with a 3rd down, so we'll maybe the break in action. Talk about Sorelli's.
I think we should. What a fantastic restaurant.
Yep. So last week we're down at Perspectives, so on the far south side of Chicago, and get back home, and my parents were in town. I look in the refrigerator, 3 Sorelli subs, extras from last week. And so the next day I was heading out to the golf course. So packed myself a Sorelli's sub. Had that at the turn. Just wonderful. Just maybe the best Italian sub I've ever had in my entire life.
They are so good. And what a nice job they do for our players, both before and after the game.
Yes, absolutely. Pre-game, post-game, and on the course. So that was it didn't help my game at all, but it made me feel a lot better. All right, so Dolphins 3rd down, 3rd and 3. Hood at quarterback, Clayton to his right. 2 receivers right. Hood looking to throw deep. He's got
a man.
He's got Will the Thrill DeMille wide open. Pass across the 30-yard line.
DeMille got behind the defense and stayed focused as the defender was closing in on him. Nice catch.
That was a lot of focus because that was like a little bit like fielding a punt. I mean, no offense, Anthony, you were on the run on that, but that one had some air under it. And DeMille, was sneaking behind the defense, and a huge completion down to the Mustang 28-yard line. So Mustangs just dialed in as Hood as a runner, but Anthony, who can throw the ball clearly, and has worked as the backup quarterback the last couple years.
And we're going to call that a Whitney Young Dolphins Sorelli's first down. Baby.
Yeah, baby. All right, so first down, Mustang 28. Hood keeps it himself. Big hole up the middle. Hood spinning close to it. Legs still moving across the first down yardage.
Read option again.
Yep, Hood seeing it right now. Right up the middle. I'm going to say he ran over Javon Clark. I think that maybe he did. We'll have to look at it on film. I'm going to say it, though. Ran over Javon Clark. Linebacker with a Georgia offer. So that is a first down. First down at the 18-yard line of the Mustangs.
Sorelli's Finer Foods first down, second of the game.
Yeah, baby. All right, so Hood collects the play from the sidelines. Again, so Pantoja in at receiver. That's in Hood's spot now that he's playing quarterback. Nasir Rankin, Harrison Gassa, and Will the Thrill DeMille, who had that big catch. They're off to Hood's left. Clayton directly behind him. That's Rankin in motion, joining Pantoja on the right. Hood keeps it again. He's got a man. He makes Carter miss. He made Clark miss on the outside. So Anthony Hood, feeling it out of that position, picks up another 6 yards. Hood's it's the sleeve, but it's on his left arm. If he really gets hot as a QB, you have to switch that over, the sleeve over to the right arm. So,
yeah, nice play by Anthony. He looked at the defender and said, "You got a commitment to Georgia? I'm going to run right around you."
Yeah. So great job right now, offensive line paving some way, and Anthony Hood just seeing the holes in there. Nick Dale, center position. Harrison Gassa in motion to Hood's left. Hood keeping it himself again. That time he can't get away. Brought down by number 11, that's Steve Wilson, middle linebacker for the Mustangs. So that'll bring up 3rd and long. Third and about 7, I'd say. At the 15. It'll be interesting here. Let's see. It was kind of windy before. I think the wind sort of died down. I mean, Solomon Bradley has been money, 6 for 6 on extra points. I'm guessing with the score the way it is, it's probably 4-down territory for the Dolphins. But we'll see. So 3rd and 7. Hood in the backfield. At quarterback, Clayton to his left. Ngasa goes in motion. Hood, again, looking to throw, and it's caught by Juan Cepeda, I think, over there, maybe MJ Woods. So Hood got hit as he was throwing, and one of his linemen caught it. I think that ends up being an illegal touching because if it was MJ who ended up with it, and I think it was, now he is... I think he's down right now. MJ is. Hopefully nothing serious there. But yeah, that's a illegal touching penalty. You can't have a lineman.
Linemen aren't allowed to be in the stats as a receiver.
Not as the first guy touching it, unless they have an eligible number, right? So that didn't turn out the way the Dolphins wanted to on 3rd down. So they rolled out Hood. Hood was definitely looking to throw. Didn't have a whole lot. Had a lot of pressure from the Mustangs. So 7:52 left here in the first half. We've got Morgan Park on top, 22-0. If you are just joining us, Mustangs have put on an aerial display. Touchdown passes, 3 touchdown passes already for Marcus Thaxton, and just I think 2 to Griffin and 1 to Amari Block Tyler. So they drove down the first drive, scored, then onside kicked that they recovered, drove down, scored. The Dolphins, with Hood in at quarterback, have been able to make some positive gains on the ground. Had a turnover when Bennett Newman was in on a 3rd and long, and Newman got dinged up on that play. And see him on the sideline still kind of flexing his wrist around. So this might be a game where we're going to see Hood in that wildcat position for most of it. We'll see. We'll see how things progress. Marcus Woods, MJ Woods, the standout left tackle for the Dolphins, is walking slowly off the field. MJ, a sophomore, has started every game of his Dolphins career. So hopefully that's something that they can look at on the sideline. Trainer Sam with him right now. Coach Finger checked in on him. So we'll see how that goes. So going to bring up 4th and long, 4th and 16 or 17 for the Dolphins. They're going for it. So DeMille looks like he's got one-on-one coverage down here on the bottom. Gassa, number 21. Also Rankin and Pantoja. So Hood goes back. I think there's going to be a holding call in the backfield. Hood is still on his feet, though. Hood is still on his feet. At this point, Anthony, throw it away. And he gets drilled. He gets drilled by Jameer Washington.
Good closing speed. Good tackle.
And, of course, Anthony doesn't know that there's a flag down already in the middle of the field. So hopefully he's okay. He got a low tackle on that. And so it's declined by Morgan Park, so they will take over.
A couple first down for the Dolphins there. Some encouraging.
Yeah, I mean,
plays.
nice long pass from Hood to DeMille. But Morgan Park will take over. 7:34 left here in the second quarter. They're going to take over at their 36-yard line. So Thaxton, the quarterback, number 4. Number 9 is Terrence Gurley, the running back behind him. 2 wide receivers left, 2 right. Thaxton calling the signals. Handoff to Gurley. Great penetration again. Joseph Clayton, and then the entire Dolphin
pod of Dolphins
D-line. So the D-line and Babanefesimi Opedele, they're really coming up field fast. And Morgan Park is running that spread offense. So there's just 5 guys on that offensive line, but it's the 3 down linemen who are getting initial push. So that's Nick Dale, Babanefesimi Opedele, and Juan Cepeda that are really doing their job up there. And then that linebacking core, Aaron Champion.
They're having a hard time running the ball on us.
Yep. So illegal formation on that, which I guess that was strange. I don't quite know what went on there. So they're showing second down right now. So it almost seems like that call is on a second down before it was lined up. Maybe they didn't have the right alignment in the backfield. So anyway, it's second and about 20 right now. Then they need to get to the 46-yard line for a first down. They haven't seemed to have a lot of trouble making long plays here, but Thaxton as the quarterback, he's surveying the field, drills it. Catch to Amari Block Tyler. That was Quinn Duhan who had a shot at him there in the middle. But again, Thaxton, they're just right now, the way this defensive alignment is going for the Dolphins, Thaxton is just working the middle, right? He's just working the seams in this Dolphin zone.
Yeah, Duhan had a beat on the ball, just couldn't quite get there.
Yep, so Duhan, I think we got Pantoja now at that safety position, giving Anthony Hood a series off here. So Thaxton, the quarterback. I think that's Keyshawn Lewis Hunt with him in the backfield. That's a handoff up the middle. And that is Hunt, and he's rumbling. I think he ran over the official. And then Duhan, I think, brought him down. So they're going to run over there and check. Oh, officials back up, getting brushed off by the Morgan Park Mustangs training staff. So he hung in there. I thought that's what was going on over there. Just running right at him. But anyway, first down run for Lewis Hunt. Also good to see Anthony Hood checking back in. So Anthony's back in on defense in that safety spot. So Hood and Duhan, deep safeties. Rankin and Maxwell Warner. Actually, is it? Rankin and Maxwell Warner on the corners. So Thaxton back in business. 5:17 left here in the second quarter. Handoff up the middle to Hunt. Great job.
Nice play.
Jason Perez brings him down, but it was Clayton knifing through there to start with to make that first contact. So Clayton and Perez teaming up on that tackle. We called their names a lot last week. Clayton had a great game defensively, and Jason Perez keeps him improving every single week at that linebacker position. So no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 from the Dolphin 35. Thaxton signaling to his receivers, 2 to his left, 2 to his right. Hunt in the backfield with him. Lewis Hunt in the backfield with him. Snap, wings it over. Completion to number 10, still streaking down the yard line, and I think they're going to call him out of bounds at about the 6. So that was Corey Harris, the senior wide receiver. So a first down, and again, it's tough. Like the speed and athleticism that these Mustangs have, they're able to go deep, but then they're also Thaxton's able to get the ball in his receiver's hands in a hurry, and they're able to do a lot with it. So I'll say this: we talked a lot about Chris Durr on the open, and he actually hasn't been on the field that I have spotted. So that's the Slim Reaper,
number 3.
Yeah, number 3, who came in with 15 catches, 208, and 2 touchdowns. But there's still plenty of receiver talent that's on display right now for the Mustangs. So Thaxton with Lewis Hunt, handoff to Lewis Hunt, stacked up, pushed outside, but Hunt keeps his feet going for the touchdowns. So 3 touchdowns passing and now 1 on the ground for the Mustangs. So that was Keyshawn Lewis Hunt. He's a Bremen transfer, so I know they had a lot of high hopes for him early in the season, and showed out a little bit in that Mount Carmel game. He's one of the guys that allows them to put Tyshawn Griffin in the slot and do some of the work there. So that was Keyshawn Lewis Hunt on the touchdown run for the Mustangs, putting them up 28-0 here with 3:38 left in the first half. Mustangs going for 2. Thaxton waiting for the snap. High snap, gets his eyes downfield. Broken up nicely by Joseph Clayton in the back of the end zone. So 2-point try, no good for the Mustangs, but they still hold a commanding 28-0 lead here over the Dolphins. Again, 3:38 left in the first half.
So on the positive side, we had some good defensive plays there. There was about a 4-minute drive. They didn't have any big plays on that drive on the positive side for the Dolphins.
Jack, you're working hard there. I appreciate that. And there have been, if you want to, the D-line has played really well. Right, as far as the running game has been shut down, and that's something I was a little worried about watching that Mount Carmel film, because they've got guys like Gurley and Lewis Hunt that can pound the middle of that offense. Kick is away. Nasir Rankin taking it upfield across the 30. right out to the 30. So Nazir Rankin.
Nice return.
The
Didn't hesitate.
Standout basketball player. Got a couple D1 offers already. Sophomore Nazir Rankin, number 1. So good to see, at least for me, given Bennett Newman is my son. That he's coming back
in the game.
So Hood will go back to his receiver position. I saw DeMille still out there. Will the Thrill DeMille, number 10. Ngasa, number 21, and Rankin, all those guys to Newman's right. Clayton in the backfield with him. Newman back, looking to Anthony Hood. Great coverage on Hood.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're going to get a flag. And how about that? Morgan Park is celebrating over there, and I think the laundry came out. There's a little bit of hand fighting. I mean, it looked like great coverage. I mean, we can't quite see from up here. But Dolphins decided to dial it up. Had Hood in one-on-one coverage. Newman delivered a nice ball over there. And referees having a chat right now. And maybe before I start celebrating, we should wait till the end of that, because it was the middle judge that made the call from across the way. And there was, if the side judge might be talking to him about what he saw on that. So we'll see. We'll see.
A good route, good pass, good defense.
Well, I'll tell you, there have been Hood has 2 long receptions so far this year. One a touchdown last week, and then a really nice reception against Hope in the opening game. And on both of those, he did a tremendous job of using his body. Hood loves to run the fade route, and the fade route, what you're doing is you're using your body to shield that defender and allow yourself the sideline, right? And so Hood, in both of those, and there he didn't have as much of a chance to do that. I mean, that was more of a go route on the outside. But that fade, you use your body to shield that defender, keep him sealed behind you, so then he gives Newman that entire alleyway down the sideline to be able to throw that pass. So trips to Newman's right. He's looking over there. He overthrows Rankin. So sailed that one over the top of Rankin's head. Dolphins trying to get some things going in the passing game. So brings up second down. Second down from the Dolphin 45. We've got 3:18 left here in the first half.
Looks like number 12's upper body injury. Is that we can't talk about specifics.
Extremity. That was an extremity. It's okay.
You can say
it's
looks like the extremities are just fine.
Looks like the
number 12.
The duct tape is holding up right now. So Newman at quarterback, Clayton to his left. He's got Nasir Rankin in motion, bringing him trips to the right side. There he hits Rankin. Nice catch by Rankin. Ushered out of bounds.
Maybe a little
across the
extra,
50.
Extra
Morgan
push
Park.
out of bounds, maybe.
Morgan Park, and that was number 3, Chris Durr. So Durr. So Durr is playing defense. We'll have to keep our eyes. Maybe he was in on some of those first things. We haven't called his name as far as catching a pass, but Durr is number 3, and he introduced Rankin to the sideline there, but a completion. Trips now to Newman's left. He's looking left. I'm not quite sure why the laundry didn't come out on that, because it looked like Ngasa got tackled over there. But to no avail. It's going to bring up fourth down. Fourth down for the Dolphins. They've got to get just inside the 50-yard line. They got to make the Dolphin 49 for a first. So looking about 4.5 yards. Clayton, the running back. Newman waiting for the snap. He's looking over to Hood. Newman sailed that thing. Hood didn't have an opportunity on that one. So I think Newman a little fired up here right now. So Hood was running the route, and Newman delivered the ball a little bit high, so the Mustangs will take over on downs in their own territory. 2:35 left here in the first half. So I'll say some some good news here. MJ Woods checking back in. So MJ came out earlier, and I have to say I didn't do a good job to see if he was in on that last offensive series, but he definitely out there now on defense. Ngasa, Hood. I think we also have Dylan Puricini is in on the nose right now. So Dylan, a sophomore, getting some action. See if the D-line can continue their strong play. Nice job by Harrison Ngasa. That ball floated into the ether by Thaxton. I think it's incomplete.
Where was the referee?
It was incomplete. They just thought we should get it. So that was over there to Jonathan Weisinger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but a penalty on the Mustangs. So we'll see. I didn't see the signal because I talk a lot more than I observe. But it looks like they're marching off 10. So I'm guessing that was a hold in the middle. So I think Dylan Piricini, I think Piricini, right? That would be the proper Italian pronunciation. Getting some things done on the nose. MJ Woods, so flip over to the side. Great job. And there's your pod.
There's another pod of Dolphins.
So try to pick off everybody that was there. Clayton, of course, is going to be there. Clayton and I think Duhan from that safety spot as well. So really nice job. I mean, there's, again, it's 28-0, but the Dolphin defense, while they've given up some big plays, there have been a lot of plays that they have played extremely well. Anything around the line of scrimmage, they've gotten great pursuit, great movement by that defensive line, and then pursuit from the linebackers and Duhan and Hood from those safety positions. So we got a timeout here on the field. I think that was Morgan Park taking the timeout.
Correct.
So Coach Finger out there talking to his troops. Again, we mentioned some of the injuries at the top. So Jolich, who's normally a safety, has dropped down to play that linebacker position where Joseph Gray was in. So hopefully Joseph will be back next week, and Jolich can move to his more traditional position. Also Aaron Champion out there in Tyson Hayes' spot. So Tyson, we hope he's back and healthy. And then Barry Gordon, BG3, as a D-line and linebacker also out, but we'll hope we have him back for next week game against Curry. So second down and 20. Thaxton with a bunch of time slings it over. Tyshawn Griffin makes the catch, but there's some more laundry on the field. So this Morgan Park line is
having a hard time with their
D-line. Struggling against the penetration of the defensive line
Bring
of
back
the Dolphins.
10 more.
So Pericini, Opadele, MJ Woods making it happen up front. And the Morgan Park line struggling to keep guys in front of them, which is good, which is a good thing.
It is good. It is good.
I mean, not that we're biased, but we are biased, so it's a good thing. Let's call it what it is.
It is the Whitney Young Dolphin Sorelli's Finer Foods Broadcast Network.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jack. Getting a little emotional on this. I'm holding on pretty tight here, man. Holding on tight. White knuckling this one. 1:47 left here in the first half. So, this is kind of like the Mustangs are making this feel like a flag football game. It's like half a field, and I'm worried about it. So they've got to make it to the Dolphin 39 for a first down. Thaxton gets the snap. He's got some time. He's looking deep. He wings it deep. He's got some guys that were open, but he tossed it right in between number 7, Javon Weisinger, and number 10, Corey Harris. So good job, good coverage by the Dolphins on the back end of that. So this is going to bring up a third down. And again, so the first series, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I'm going to do it anyway. First series that Morgan Park had against Mount Carmel last week, they went 3 and out, and then on the snap, the long snap to the punter, sailed it over his head, and Mount Carmel recovered it. So they're not a team that punts very often, right? So they're not practicing that long snap to the punter. So let's see if we can get a stop here on 3rd down, and then see if we can force Morgan Park to punt and have that operation be clean. Deep throw, Maxwell Warner got his head around, which is nice. So he did a really, really nice job. One-on-one coverage. He's out there on an island. Thaxton's going deep with the throw, and Max was able to make contact with the receiver and then get his body turned to defend the pass. So great job by Maxwell Warner over on that left-hand cornerback position.
Yeah, the last 2 plays, Duhan and Warner running step for step with the Mustang receivers. So 4th down.
So Morgan Park, it looks like they are going for it, right? So the ball is at the Morgan Park 29. They've got to go to the Dolphin 39.
I'm in Salisbury. I can't figure out how many yards that is.
No,
but
I'm not
it's
even
going
to try. Tony McHale will have to tell us how many yards that is. So Thaxton, with time, rainbows one down the field, and there's going to be a pass interference penalty. So it was, and I can see where there's not going to be a whole lot of happiness there from Maxwell Warner. He had good coverage on it. He was going for the ball, but that'll be a penalty on the Dolphins, which will give an automatic 1st down. And not a spot foul, so it's not going to...
15 yards.
It's going to give Morgan Park the ball at their 44-yard line. So, yep, a 15-yard penalty. And that's why they don't want to punt, because they had the time and were able to, Thaxton was able to throw deep. So 1:22 left here in the first half. Morgan Park up 28-0. Thaxton calling signals, waiting for the ball. Snap
Blitz.
to him. Blitz up the middle by Aaron Champion. Flushes Thaxton out to the side. He's still able to connect with Tyshawn Griffin right along the sidelines, right in front of Yolich. So Coach O.D., D coordinator, dialed up the blitz. Flushed. Champion was able to flush Thaxton out of the pocket, but he delivered a strike to Griffin. So I think that I thought maybe Morgan Park called a timeout there, but they didn't. So the clock stops on the 1st down. Thaxton at quarterback, ball just inside the 35, flings it out to Gurley. Gurley making guys miss. There's going to be a hold or maybe a clip. Yeah, I think a block in the back by number 10, Corey Harris, trying to seal the outside for Gurley. So kind of gotten a little sloppy here, and I think this is it on both sides of the ball, right? You've got to clean this up, and I think Coach Finger was mentioning last week against Perspectives, the Dolphins played a very good first half of football and then just got sloppy with some penalties, some motion things, just not keeping it together in the second half, and I think they ended up with 9 penalties in the game, so you got to clean that up. Morgan Park, I think the same thing in that game against Mount Carmel. I mean, the difference in the game, they had 3 interceptions. You know, this defensive backfield is good. They were getting some of those plays, but they were also having some of these kind of plays. They were having the holding penalties on some of their positive gainers. So backs the ball up, 1st down at the 44. Thaxton with some time hit Griffin in the hands. I mean, Griffin's had an incredible game, so I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time, but it did hit him in the hands. I'm just reporting here. I'm just factual.
It did. He's had a great game, and I'm not gonna use a Kadarius Toney reference on that drop because it wasn't a pick six.
No, and good God, they have caught everything else coming their way now. So 5 receivers out there. Thaxton on his own in the backfield. Dolphins now wise to that little clap and stand up, so we didn't jump off sides, which is nice. They have gotten pressure, and Dolphins have gotten pressure in this alignment with 5 receivers out there. Let's see if they can get home on Thaxton. Thaxton with a quick flip over on the side. That was, I think, Babanefesimi Opedele coming off of his line position to make that tackle.
Good tackle. 30 seconds left in the half.
30 seconds in the clock running. So the Mustangs going to hustle up here. We've got Weisinger, Gurley on the right. Thaxton looking to his left.
Hold. There's a big-time hold. Bring it back.
Nice closing tackle by Rankin over there on Corey Harris, the receiver. But, yes, another holding penalty. We'll have to ask Brian Barrett how many penalties there have been in this first half. Is this a first half, or have we played 2 games in this first half?
I don't know.
My goodness.
That was one of the most obvious holds I've ever seen. It was just almost like a horse collar tackle.
Yeah. Yep. So Morgan Park will have, even with a 28-0 lead, I'm imagining there's going to be a lot of conversations with the offensive line. They haven't done the job in the run game, and they've had quite a few holding penalties. Bailed out big time by the athleticism of the wide receivers and Marcus Thaxton, the quarterback, who's had a heck of a first half here. So end of the first half, going to halftime here. Going to halftime with the Mustangs up 28-0. See if the Dolphins can regroup. I'm going to regroup for a second, but then I'm going to jump into some Dolphin news, some Dolphin athletic news, and some Chicago football land. But I think I need to hydrate as well. I think I heard Scott Clayton yelling to Joseph Clayton to hydrate. So
he's hydrating, and Barry is as well. I'd like to do a quick shout out to the Whitney Young Dolphins class of 2022. I saw some Dolphin alumni down in Bloomington, Indiana last weekend. Pat McHale, the former quarterback, my son Josh Wildermuth, and a lot of discussion around the game, the win last week. And a quick shout out to Tommy Basariu, currently playing at Wayne State University, and Sam Wyatt at Pomona.
Yeah.
So 2 Dolphins in the class of 22 are continuing their football careers.
Yeah, and that's good. And thinking about hydration, did you have to hydrate a little bit after that weekend with those guys?
We did have to hydrate. They're playing a new game called Beer Dice or Beer Die, where they throw the dice in the air. And I think the old men beat some of the college kids. The Dolphins may have lost a step when it comes to that kind of thing.
Well, congrats to you for that, my man. All right. So let's talk about Whitney Young sports. JV football. Jack, I think you were in attendance for that.
I was on the chain gang there.
Excellent. So I think there was a controversy of what the final score was, but it was a lot to not much.
It was. Another beautiful day on the turf field up off of Wilson, and the Dolphins JV team had a really nice win against Uplift.
Yep. So Coach O.D. sent me over some notes. And it started just Vaughn Conrad, the quarterback for JV. His Coach O.D.'s note to me just started, Vaughn had himself a game. So besides running for a couple crucial first downs on 3rd and 4th down, Vaughn threw for 3 touchdowns. 2 were deep balls to Jonathan Ejimockin and Sheldon Williams. Another was off a red zone scramble to Tim Edwards, who had the most catches with 3. So also in the game, Devander Shoemaker had a rushing touchdown of 10 yards. Lee Dingfield and Sean Miller had a few first down carries. At one point, Lee fumbled the ball. Uplift picked it up, fumbled, then Lee picked it up again and gained 20 yards. So you have some of those things.
There were some pretty wild plays there out on the Wilson turf field on Tuesday afternoon.
Yep. On defense, Damian Mendez and Sean Miller played very well at outside linebacker. Simon Kudlov had a pick 6 to end the game. Toward the end, we were able to get Hayden Petroulis in the game. Hayden completed a pass, a slant pass for a first down. So remember that name, Hayden Petroulis. We talked about Hayden a little bit. We'll hear her name. How about we're going to hear it next, because we're going to transition over to Whitney Young flag football. So the girls football team, so they open up conference play tomorrow at Michelle Obama Field. They've got a 2 o'clock game against Northside Prep and a 4 p.m. against Schurz. Earlier in the week, they beat Von Steuben 12-8, pushing their record to 3-1. In that game, Hayden Petroulis was the starting quarterback for the Whitney Young flag football team. Hayden finished the day with 123 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. On offense, her stats were helped. I saw this this clip on social media. Denise Mehe, 1 reception, 90 yards.
One reception. That's
well, it was
good,
a little bit like
yards per
some
catch.
of the things that we've seen tonight, in that she just ran a seam right down the middle of the zone and was just off, just took off, and nobody was within, I think, 30 yards of her by the time she got to the end zone. So big play there for Denise. Marcella Madalana, 2 receptions for 15 yards. Haley Watson had the other touchdown catch. On defense, Kennedy Glover, 5 flag pulls, 1 deflection. Is that a great football name, a great defensive football name? Kennedy Glover.
Kennedy Glover, that's outstanding.
That is outstanding. Nina Lloyd, interception, flag pull. We've heard her name before. She's one of the top defenders for the Whitney Young flag football girls. And Gabby Godinez with a flag pull and 2 sacks.
No, I watched, Hayden and Vaughn were warming up the receivers before the JV game, and I hadn't seen her live. First of all, Vaughn has a cannon.
Yep.
But she was throwing the ball, warming up the receivers. Looks great.
Yeah, yep. Coach Fingers, I mean, there's a lot of talent at that quarterback position. I mean, Vaughn, I talked to Coach Finger about, hey, he's got a little bit of Pat McHale in him.
Yeah, he does. He does.
He looks like him. I mean, he's got to hit the growth spurt, but he's got that swagger. And Coach Finger's like, yeah, he's got a lot of that. He's got how you have the heart of a Pat McHale on the football field, because Pat was like just about the toughest guy out there. But very excited about watching Vaughn Conrad in his progression as a quarterback here. And Hayden Petroulis. Hayden, I always try to work in my guy, Byron Dawkins. Byron Dawkins is the quarterback coach for Bennett Newman, but Hayden also works with Coach Dawkins at QB1. A couple other Dolphin notes here. Girls tennis, just pitching shutouts left and right. So I think, and I don't know, what do you win, 6-0? Is that what you, like, the team, is that what a team win is in high school tennis? I won't put you on the spot on that, but because all I know is on social media they keep talking about how all they do is win. So they've had shutout wins over Taft, Jones, and Northside over the past week. So solid performance from Whitney Young tennis, of course. Great
back
history.
in Ohio, we played 5 matches in the western side of Ohio. On the eastern side, they don't really have tennis. Akron, they just have mostly gravel, which they eat.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't play sports like that.
And I'm sure there's no pickleball over there.
Oh, yes. You don't.
You can't. Pickleball and gravel, that just doesn't mix. Just not a.
You have to disguise yourself if you would not want if you're from Akron, you don't want your friends knowing you play pickleball.
No, not at all. Boys golf. Golfers finished second behind the Peyton Jones team over Labor Day at Robert Black, and then they had a loss yesterday to Peyton. I did get the result, the score. Derek Patton, who one of my other on the bingo card, we got to get Oz Park Baseball U12. And Bennett played on that team with quite a few guys that are sprinkled throughout CPS athletics. So Derek Patton, who goes to Peyton, I think was the leading golfer on the day, shooting a 1-under to help them beat the Dolphins. I got to get to a soccer update here, so that is on my phone. On my phone from Jason Hockman. Let's see. Hang on, everybody. Jason Hockman. Also, if I want to do the shout out on the Oz Park, Jason just retired as the president of Oz Park after, I don't know, several millennia as the president.
Oh, legendary program.
Founder of. So here's the update from Jason. Whitney Young soccer update. Whitney Young bounced back from a 3-game losing streak on Saturday with a win against Latin. Cole Hockman, recognize the name, last season's leading goal scorer, paced the Dolphins, netting both goals in a 2-0 victory. Maybe I'll mention Cole Hockman also played Oz Park baseball. Young returned to conference play, taking on Prosser on Tuesday, netting a 3-0 win. Young took on rival Lane Tech last night with a strong showing from the student section. Lane got 2 early goals, and junior captain John Stanton scored a gorgeous header on a set piece to pull Young to a 2-1 disadvantage. Whitney Young dominated the pace of play in the second half and had multiple shots on goals that were saved by the Lane keeper. Lane scored a late goal to preserve the 3-1 victory. Whitney Young is 4-4 on the season and 3rd in conference play. They continue conference play tonight, actually, going on at Muchin at home. So maybe we'll get an update on that. All right, I want to jump back to another note. Couple fun Whitney Young notes. So, Jack, are you a fan of The Amazing Race?
I am a fan. I'm not up to speed on the current season, but I do like the show.
Okay, so the current season, I think it kicks off at the end of September. And one of the teams in The Amazing Race is going to feature 2 Whitney Young graduates, Greg Franklin, who graduated in 2016, and his brother John Franklin in 2014. Greg, who graduated in 2016, was a captain, offensive lineman, defensive lineman for these very same Whitney Young Dolphins. So, yeah, that season starts September 27th on CBS. Season 35.
35. Go
Jeez. Dolphins. Yeah,
also.
Exactly. Do we get some money from CBS for mentioning that? I think
we are not seeking a secondary sponsor, but if they want it,
right.
It'll never displace Sorelli's Finer Foods.
Yeah, absolutely.
But CBS could be in the mix.
Yeah, I want to throw one other note out that I think is pretty cool, and that is so Morgan Park. We talked about their history from a football perspective. Famous alumni for them, also Ayo Desunu from Illinois, and now with the Bulls. But in looking at this stuff, and I think we should work on this in the future. Whitney Young and Morgan Park share what I think is a super, super cool factoid, and that is Mae Jemison from Morgan Park graduate, was the first African-American woman in space. She was aboard the Endeavour in 1992, and Whitney Young's Joan Higginbotham was the 3rd African-American woman in space aboard the Discovery. So that says a lot for these 2 academic institutions, says a lot for those 2 women in what they've been able to do with the U.S. space program.
It really does. Some excellence from both of these schools for sure.
All right, we've got 4 minutes left. How about we talk about a little Chicagoland football? Yeah, we'll get to those. The stats.
Okay. I have the stats if we want to go.
Well, let me throw you a little little Chicagoland football.
Good. Yeah.
So number 3 Loyola. That game's kicked off at 6:30 tonight. So they're against number 18 Marist. So last week Loyola beat Naperville North 27-6. In that game, you got to get my Northwestern reference in. So junior Ryan Fitzgerald, the son of Pat Fitzgerald, who's a starting quarterback at Loyola, a dual threat quarterback, actually got hurt in that game. He had a great first game as a starter, got hurt, and was replaced by Lucas Holabar. Holabar is back to my Byron Dawkins, Bennett Newman, Hayden Petrulis. Holabar is a product of QB1 and Byron Dawkins. So Holabar led them to that 27-6 win last week, and now they're facing off against number 18 Marist tonight. So that's Loyola against Marist. Got a couple other top 25 matchups. Number 6 St. Charles North facing off against number 24 Wheaton North. Then Maine South, number 9, going against number 10 Palatine. So I think that will be that is a great game going on right now. This is the last time I'm dropping Byron Dawkins QB1, but his guy Jack DeFilippis is the Maine South starting quarterback. Palatine is led by Dominic Ball, a Tulane commit who has already rushed for 315 yards and 5 touchdowns on the year. Catholic League, St. Rita, number 11, going up against number 14, Joliet Catholic. and then just a quick trips around the Chicago Public League, so teams that we will either face directly or will see in the standings. Phillips took it to Curie last night, 54-0. We face Curie next week. That's a home game. So home game at Rockne Stadium for us, historic Rockne Stadium, which has been renovated.
I've not seen it live, but the turf field looks beautiful.
I'm excited to go out there. I'm excited to be back at Rockne. So we've got a 7:15 kickoff next week against Curie. Going on tonight, Brooks is at Taft. Kenwood is at Clark. So I mentioned Kenwood again before. They'll play Morgan Park later in the year. Marquise Lightfoot is the number 4 prospect. I think I said before I was wrong. He is the U. He's going to Miami down in Florida. And Marion Stewart is going to Michigan. So those guys both play at Kenwood. You got Lane versus Hyde Park tomorrow. Bulls Prep at Simeon tomorrow. And then Perspectives at Westinghouse. So that'll be an interesting game. See how Westinghouse is a huge game on our schedule. So Westinghouse beat us last year. Askaya Bully, their quarterback's all-state quarterback, who will face off in a couple weeks. So that is going to be a big-time matchup in 2 weeks. So put that on your calendar, Whitney Young versus Westinghouse. A few other games to note. Hope is facing off against Aurora Christian, so that's the start of the new Chicagoland Christian Conference. So we saw Hope first week of the year. Hope, sort of inexplicably to me, they're still not in the top 10 in the 1A rankings. I think there's some sort of Southern Illinois cabal that is not voting for the Hope Academy Eagles. But by the end of the year, I'm sure they're going to be in that top 10, and we hope Chris Millette and the Eagles make a deep, deep run into the state playoffs.
I think there's a farmers syndicate of some sort working against the Chicago schools in 1A.
Absolutely. Brother Rice at Ignatius, so Ignatius looking to bounce back from their loss last week to Fenwick. Fenwick is at Providence, so Fenwick's looked really good. Oak Park River Forest win their first week and a win over Ignatius last week. And then also, I think it's kind of like a football game / rap concert / a whole bunch of other stuff going on at Bolingbrook. So I don't know if have you ever seen the stadium at the Brook?
I have not, Barry. That sounds fun.
The field is black.
Oh,
so rather than green, the field is black. Their colors are black and red, so it's black, and then the hash marks are red. Last week they had this YouTuber AJ Green out there, so it's just a massive party when they're out there. But Bolingbrook takes on Naperville North tonight. So Naperville North led by Luke Williams. He's number 9 prospect in the state and a Purdue commit. And the Bolingbrook side of things, even though Marion Stewart transferred from Bolingbrook to Kenwood, they still have Kyan Barry Johnson. He's heading to Wisconsin, wide receiver. And then Jonas Williams, who is probably, although Marcus Thaxton may have something to say about this, Jonas Williams probably the top quarterback prospect in the state. He's only a sophomore down at Bolingbrook. He already has offers from Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, and a host of others.
Yeah, Bolingbrook, Whitney Young, both in the Final Four in 2022 4A down in Champaign, Illinois.
Yeah.
Good matchup.
All right, so we are rolling into the end. I'm going to do a technology check here, make sure that we are still online everywhere. It certainly seems like we are. I hope that everybody at home was able to hydrate a bit at halftime, and maybe if you have a Sorelli sub or a Sorelli's Italian beef sandwich.
It'd be a great time to enjoy it. As I know the players will after the game.
So the Dolphins will receive the kickoff. And Brandon Dockett had a nice kickoff
really
return.
Nice return.
Nice return in the first half. Got the ball across the 50 for the Dolphins. And I don't think Morgan Park doesn't kick the ball real deep. So again, maybe those up back guys. I mean, it'd be nice to Dolphins had. You have stats. Why don't you want to roll through some of those stats?
So first quarter. Let's go with the first downs in the first quarter. 5 for Morgan Park, none for Whitney Young Dolphins. Then we brought it back 3 first downs.
Nice.
In the second quarter versus 11 for Morgan Park. Really slowed them up, and thanks to, as you pointed out, Barry, the defensive line penetration and the pod of Dolphin tackling has really limited them in the last several series and taken away some big plays. So, we'll go through the very specifics on a lot of the stats other than we're improving.
Yeah, yep. And we talked about D-line linebackers have really done a nice job limiting the Morgan Park running game. We have not had an answer for Thaxton in the passing game.
Yeah, so just some quickly, Thornton, a really nice game. 12 for 15, 270 yards, 3 touchdowns. Leading rusher, only 29 yards for Morgan Park.
Yep. So here is the kick. The kick is away. It's blown dead. So something was awry there. I think it went to Rayton Scotemere. He was ready to take that back. He's like, hey, give me the ball. Let me take care of some business here. So it was a procedure penalty on Morgan Park. So they're backed up to the 35. So again, it looks like Rankin, Maxwell Warner. We know both those guys are dynamic athletes. Dockett, Scotemere, and I think Will the Thrill DeMille as the up guys. So that's going to be Rankin catching on the run across the 30, across the 40. He's across the 45, still going out to the 46-yard line. So, yeah, real nice job by Rankin. Caught that with a head of steam and got almost all the way to midfield. So Anthony Hood going to open. So Dolphins going to go back to the alignment that got them some momentum in that first quarter. So Hood in at quarterback. He's got Jolich behind him. Rankin in motion. Hands it off. Keeps it, actually. Anthony Hood keeps it. Pickup of about 1. So looking for a little read option there. I think Jolich wanted it.
I think he did. That might have been the better play.
Yeah, well, and that's just something, too. It's like they do work on this formation during the week in practice, but probably not a lot of exchanges that Hood and Jolich are doing. So they will have to work on that on the fly. So pickup of a yard, bringing up 2nd and 9. Ball on the 46-yard line of Morgan Park. Just underway here in the second half. So Duhan checking in. So Duhan receiver to the far left of Hood. Rankin in the slot. Duhan, that time a handoff right to Jolich. Jolich met immediately in the middle of that line by KJ Hayes. KJ Hayes coming from his linebacker position. Loss of 2 actually on that play. So that'll bring up 3rd and 11. 3rd and 11 here for the Dolphins. Just underway here in the second half. Offensive line. Nick Dale on the center. Opadelli. And Cepeda at the guards. MJ Woods and Perez as the tackles. Hood with Jolich next to him, barking out signals, rolling to his left, looking for a spot. He's got room.
Nice
He's
run.
turning upfield.
Nice run.
Gets it almost out to the 46. So I don't think that's going to be about a yard short of the first down. But Hood, as he showed in the first half, when he gets to the edge, there's some blocks that are being thrown for him out there. Also, I'd say a really good job, and I don't know if I think it was either Duhan or Pantoja as the outside receiver who held, who made a good block and did not hold. right? Because Hood was coming his way, and he was, and I think that's a lot of times where those holding calls come out, is that you're engaged with somebody, and when they try to get off of you as a block, you end up getting a little bit grabby, and so.
And the refs are calling it tonight. 80 yards and penalties against Morgan Park so far. So nice job.
Trips to Hood's right. He's keeping it. He's tripped up, trying to get forward, and I think he was stopped short. I think he was stopped just short of the line to
Close.
gain.
That was the right read to keep it. Just almost got there. Nice vision by Anthony Hood on the last play. Picked up 9 yards. Almost got the first down there.
So the ball will go over to Morgan Park on downs. Do a quick check on our defense here. So Javon Hobbs is in the game at corner. He's replacing Rankin on the right-hand side. Maxwell Warner, left-hand corner. Safeties are Hood and Duhan. Linebackers, outside linebackers, Aaron Champion and Jason Perez. Yolich and Clayton as the linebackers. Thaxton, the quarterback, with Gurley next to him. Thaxton, handoff.
Nice.
Joseph Clayton.
Very active.
Clayton knifing
read it
through
the whole
there.
way. Nice play.
Met Keyshawn Lewis Hunt in the hole. Scott Clayton not on the headset, but you might even be able to hear him. Pretty fired up in that.
Dolphin fans getting fired up here.
Yep.
Let's have a good second half.
So loss of 2 on the play. Dolphins got that all figured out now.
Only one penalty on that.
Yep. Actually, well, one. Yep. Morgan Park tackle was begging for one there, but didn't get it. Nick Dale on the nose. Nick Dale, great penetration. And I think that's Clayton bringing him down, but that was Dale's play, man. Dale owned the center
on our Dolphin line.
Really nice job by that D-line and the linebackers. So Yolich checking out. So I think they're making some adjustments here. So the Dolphin D now with Rankin coming in, they're going to 6 defensive backs, trying to eliminate that seam route down the middle. So Rankin playing like a cover 3 on the back end, I think. See if we can get some penetration. Make Thaxton hurry his throw. But Dolphins, trying to look at a little bit of a different look here. 4 receivers for Morgan Park. Morgan Park, I think, ends up taking a timeout because they couldn't quite figure out what to do with that. Couldn't quite figure out what to do with that alignment for the Dolphins when they brought on Rankin as that 6th defensive back.
A nice way to mix it up by Coach O.D.
So it's 3rd and long. Again, Dolphin. What was the rushing yardage for the Mustangs in the first half? Because it was a very nice job. I mean, I know they got the rushing touchdown late, and I had a couple of those, but a really good job. So rushing yards, 36 yards rushing in the first half for Morgan Park. 270, or maybe, I think that's 270 in through the air. So 3rd down, 3rd and about 15 yards. Not quite sure why a horn went off here, but we'll ignore it. And so I think off of that timeout, I don't know if it was a motion, definitely a penalty on Morgan Park. So we talk a lot about the athletic talent, and without a doubt, it's there for Morgan Park. Oh, they're picking it up. So it was just about to say they got to clean up their penalties, and they cleaned it up. So don't listen to me.
Big play here.
5 receivers for Thaxton, 3 D-line for the Dolphins. Opadelli getting a push. Picked off. I think that's Javon Hobbs. Hobbs picking his way. Maybe it's Maxwell Warner. There's a convoy, and he's down to the 25-yard line. So I think it was Warner. I think it was Warner on the pick. Yeah, Maxwell Warner, the sophomore, with the interception. So Dolphins
Nice, Maxwell.
made Morgan Park think through it a little bit more. Now let's see if we can make them pay. So the Dolphins back on the field offensively. Hood's still at QB. Let's see if Anthony can work some magic on the ground.
Great play.
Yep. And again, it was something Thaxton was thrown over the top of a lot of our guys in the first half, but he threw. I mean, that was a double coverage, and Maxwell Warner just got up and made the play. So first down at the 27-yard line. Hood gives it to Jolich. Jolich puts his head down, picks up maybe one in the middle of that line. So a little tough sledding right up the middle, but the Dolphins have been able, through mainly the legs and vision of Anthony Hood, to make some progress. So 5:38 left here in the third quarter. 28-0 Morgan Park. But off of that big-time interception from Maxwell Warner, giving the Dolphins great field position inside Morgan Park territory at about the 27-yard line right now. So receivers, Duhan, Rankin, Pantoja, Gassa, Jolich in the backfield with Hood. Hood keeping it. And he is stacked up almost immediately right there in the middle of the Morgan Park line.
And not much there that time.
So that'll bring up third and about 10. Is that right? Yep. So we had a Jolich run and a Hood run. .430 left here in the third quarter. Yeah. We just got a
0-0 here in the second half, Barry.
Yeah, there we go.
We're tied with Morgan Park. Morgan Park.
Yep. I mean, the Dolphins, it was a little bit of a, optimism. The hope game where they got down big early. They won that second half 14-13. Pantoja, Duhan in motion. I think the Dolphins are going to have to take a timeout here. So it took a little bit of time, and again, they're operating a little bit. This was not the game plan. The game plan was the normal Whitney Young game plan. I mean, I think it was I'm guessing that first series of throwing Hood in there was supposed to, which it did, give them a little bit of clock management after the defense had been on the field for two straight. And then my thought was that they were going to go back into a more traditional look. I'm not sure if Bennett Newman, I see him on the sideline. I've also seen him with the trainer Sam a bit. So I'm not sure if he is in a position to go back in. Now, what has been working a bit, working is a relative term, but what's been working is this alignment with Hood as the running the Wildcat, although he has one really long, really nice completion to Will DeMille. So again, I don't know what's going on here. So we got some horn is going off at Lane Stadium. So last time they waved off the flag on Morgan Park because they jumped on the horn, and this time the Dolphins jumped. Not sure where that's coming from, but anyway, third down, third and long. Hood looking to pass, but he's got some room over there, and he turns it upfield, takes a hit but doesn't go down because he's Anthony Hood. So nice stick over there on the sidelines by Morgan Park's linebacker, number 34, which I don't actually have a number 34. So Hood picked up, call it one, maybe two on that. He was looking to pass.
Maybe a couple yards.
Eventually,
not much there.
Not much there. So bringing up a 4th down. 4th down and 9. Dolphins trying to capitalize after that Maxwell Warner interception. So Pantoja, Rankin to the right, Jolich in the backfield, Gassa and Duhan to the left. Hood trying to get outside the pocket. He throws it deep. Oh my goodness.
Almost.
Yeah, so the Morgan Park defender undercut it, and it actually hit Rankin in the hands. Now a tough ball, like he was trying to adjust on it. So a tough ball for him to manage down there, but Anthony gave him the chance, right? I mean, put the air under it, got outside in the rollout. So now the Dolphin D needs to go back and do what the Dolphin D does, and that is stop the run and get Morgan Park in a long down and distance type of situation.
Yeah, Anthony, really nice completion in the first half of 43 yards, and almost about matched it there.
Yep. So we'll see. It looks like now the Dolphins have gone back to the defensive alignment that they had previously, maybe backing Jolich off of his linebacker spot a little bit and putting him in the middle of the field. We'll see what Morgan Park does. They've got 5 receivers. So again, that we've been able to get some action here. So that's Gurley on the jet sweep. Really nice job of holding the edge. So great job on that side of the field. I'm going to say, I mean, you never go wrong by saying Clayton was in on it, but I think Clayton and Jolich from their linebacker positions. And I think that's I think Javon Hobbs was over there on run support as the corner, and Aaron Champion as well. So that was a really, really nice job. No gain on the play. So Morgan Park trying to get their running game going with a jet sweep action. They're bringing a tight end in close now. Oh, actually, they weren't. So they got a guy coming in late. Gurley was off the field. I was trying to figure out what that alignment was. Thought they had 6 on the line of scrimmage, but it was just 5. Gurley was just off the field. Now to Thaxton's right. Thaxton collects it, looking to his left. Makes the completion out there. Receiver still on his feet. Across the first down, where he gets ushered to the turf by a whole bunch of Dolphins. So Morgan Park went to their short passing game there. 1:24 left here in the third quarter. Morgan Park up 28-0 over the Whitney Young Dolphins. Nick Dale checking back in at that nose guard position. He's gotten back-to-back really nice games defensively out of Nick. There's Griffin with the inside handoff, but swallowed up. Really nice job. Anthony Hood forcing the action to the inside. And then Jolich, I think, on the end of that tackle. So that's, again, trying to get the ball to the Illinois commit, Tyshawn Griffin, who's got a couple touchdown catches today. So Morgan Park staying in the spread offense. 2 receivers to Thaxton's left, 3 to his right. Motion now, motioning Griffin to the backfield behind him. We haven't seen him in the backfield as a pure running back. A lot of direction going on from the Morgan Park coaches getting guys aligned. So Thaxton drills it in. Tackle made in the middle of the field, first down. I think tackle made by Anthony Hood as a completion to number 7, Jawan Weisinger. So Hood on the tackle. They do pick up a first down, and that is the end of the third quarter. So third quarter, scoreless.
This brings us, Barry, to the Sorelli's Finer Foods fourth quarter, Dolphin fourth quarter.
Yeah, all right.
Here on the north side, beautiful night. Dolphins are hanging a lot tougher in the last couple quarters.
Yep, absolutely. So still, like, there's, the Coach Finger it'll be interesting to talk to him this week. I mean, clearly a quarter ahead of us that makes a big difference in how those conversations go, right? You want to, I think all of us as fans leaving that Hope game really felt good about the way the team played in that second half on both sides of the ball, right? The offense really got clicking. Touchdown passes from Newman to Barry Gordon, and then Maxwell Warner with a touchdown catch run, mostly on Maxwell's back for that to end the game, right? So you felt really good about it, and I think you knew looking at the schedule, and I think I did the math. Those first 3 weeks. Now Perspectives was a playoff team last year, but playing at the lower white division. But the winning percentages of the first 3 games, I think it was 848 was the winning percentage, right? So you had Hope, a team that went deep in the 1A playoffs, Morgan Park deep in the 5A playoffs, and you knew you had them 2 out of the first 3 weeks. So that's a good test, a good way to start the season. Thaxton with a first down, looks deep. Maxwell Warner's back there. But that is another long touchdown catch for Amari Block Tyler. So I think that's his 3rd on the day, if I'm correct on that. So these guys are, they're the single coverage on the outside. Maxwell Warner was able to make that interception before. That one was that just the speed of the receivers on this team, but then also Thaxton just throwing some missiles out there. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, great pass, great catch, good coverage too.
So 34-0. So first play here of the 4th quarter. Mustangs put up their 5th touchdown of the night. 4 through the air for Thaxton, 1 on the ground. 2-point conversion, 2-point try. Thaxton to his right, back shouldering. Guy almost made a catch. I mean, that's how good they are. I mean, you just throw it up in the air, and these guys are able to make some one-handed catches. But so the Dolphins hold serve on that 2-point conversion, 34-0. Right here at the start of the 4th quarter. So let's we'll look a bit, and I've kind of talked throughout the course of the night, but remaining schedule for Whitney Young. So we have a home game next week at Rockney against Curie. That's a 7:15 kick. Then the big rematch, also a home game at Rockney against Westinghouse. And then Hyde Park. So if you think about the regular season in thirds, this first third has been the toughest. Hope, Perspectives, Morgan Park. So looks like, barring some sort of minor miracle, the Dolphins will likely drop this game and go to 1-2. But that was your toughest third of the season, right? You knew that when the schedule came out. Next third, Curie, Westinghouse, Hyde Park. So Curie and Hyde Park are 2 of those teams. Well, Curie was at the red level last year, but Curie has struggled so far this year. You're never going to count a win before you play the game, but that is a game that the Dolphins will be looking forward to. Then Westinghouse, then Hyde Park. That's your next third. Kick is away. Kick is through the legs of Maxwell Warner. It might be good to let that go in the end zone. And now we're running the wrong way, and he gets tackled right at the line. So I think he's going to be about at the 1. And that's a tough one. I mean,
tough bounce.
Yeah, and I think again, Maxwell, a sophomore, hasn't played a ton of tackle football. That's one that you just you want to let go through the wickets and into the end zone. So just to again. Some of the parental bias comes in. So now Bennett Newman checks in the game, backed up in the shadow of his goalpost. Hood out to our left, Newman's right. Hood and Rankin. Joseph Clayton in the backfield. Newman under center. Newman on the quarterback keeper. Picks up 5 yards.
Nice play. Got him out of the danger zone.
The scouting report does not have Bennett Newman listed as a major running threat, although he has a touchdown from last week. And let me just tell you this. Bennett is a really good-hearted kid, and this team is really, really tight. But he was giving the running backs a whole lot of grief on the bus back from Perspectives last week because he has the only rushing touchdown so far. There have been 5 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Not Clayton, not Yolich, not Maxwell Warner, but Bennett Newman.
Number 12.
Waving Ngasa in motion. Newman looking. He's got Rankin upfield. Rankin making a guy miss. Rankin across the 20 to the 25-yard line, 26-yard line. So nice pitch and catch there.
Nice play.
Nice play. Again, Rankin kind of settling down in there. Good pitch and catch. So good to see Newman with the duct tape on that right wrist. Still was able to fire up a fastball in there. So DeMille wide left, Gassa in the slot to the left. Newman with Clayton next to him. Newman back. He's got some pressure. Gets it over to Hood. Got some blockers out in front of him.
Nice
Hood.
read by Anthony.
Nice block downfield by Parasini.
Great play.
Hood across the 50 to the 46-yard line.
Anthony hesitated, waited for his blockers. Really, really good play.
Awesome block by the sophomore, Dylan Piricini. Piricini got downfield and then leveled one of the Morgan Park guys on the backside. So I think Piricini, we'll have to see who he got some time in the last 2 games. So nice job by that entire offensive line. Good job. Anthony showing that vision. I mean, he showed it as a Wildcat quarterback earlier in this game, but then showed it there, getting that short pass from Newman. So ball at the 45, handoff to Clayton. Clayton met immediately in the backfield. So tough on the traditional running game. That was, I think, KJ Harris, whose name we've called out quite a few times already. Harris and Samaj Walters, although maybe that's him. So 8:25, 8:28 left here in the 4th quarter. Dolphins with a drive here into Morgan Park's territory. Hood, the single receiver wide to the left. He is in one-on-one coverage. Newman,
Screen.
Nice pass. Harrison Gossa to the 40, to the 45, to the 30. Ushered out of bounds. Great, again, nice job. Eddie Boucher dialing up some plays.
That's our 3rd Whitney Young Dolphin, Sorelli's Finer Food, 3rd first down of this drive, Barry.
Yep, nice job. Passes to Rankin, to Hood, and now to Harrison Gossa. That's also, I mean, one of the things that we talked about, the maturation of Bennett Newman as a quarterback. Does see the field well. I mean, that's why you see the ball getting distributed to a lot of different guys. Also, credit to Coach Finger, Coach Boucher on the play calls. So Morgan Park showing pressure. Nice blitz pickup down the middle. He's got Hood. Hood with the catch. Did he hold on to it? He held on to it. Holy cow. Touchdown. That
Dolphins.
was a play,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what the score is. That was an amazing blitz pickup in the middle, I think, by Clayton. Then Newman with a on-the-money rainbow throw, and Hood, who got hammered at it. Basically a one-handed catch. Great job. Great play.
So that drive was about 4 minutes, 98, 99 yards.
Oh yeah,
drive.
that was from the from the shadow of the goalpost. So Dolphins trying to figure some things out here. I think they're missing a guy on the offensive line. I think somebody was hurt. Hopefully they can get this off on time. We got Ben Barrett, 4-star long snapper in there. If the operation goes right, it's Barrett to Von Conrad, 3 touchdowns. Solomon Bradley up and good. Solomon Bradley 7 for 7 on extra points this year.
Great drive. Great spirit by the Dolphin crowd.
I hear some cowbells. More cowbell.
We need more cowbell.
We need more cowbell.
We got some cowbell here, Dolphins.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Students are into it a bit. We have the 12 cheerleaders looking always very precise, rooting on the Dolphins. Some good spirit here now, Barry.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. I didn't know where you're going with that. Precision, man.
The precision. It's good.
I didn't want you to go Mitch McConnell on me there. I didn't know what I was going to do with that.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thanks. Brian Barrett giving us 6 plays, 99 yards. Newman on that, 4 for 4, 96 yards in the touchdown. You know how those other 4 yards came? On the Newman quarterback sneak. So a little if you were worried about your fantasy production with Bennett Newman in your quarterback or your superflex spot, if you play in a superflex league, he helped you out there with getting the Dolphins on the board, 34-7. We're still having fun. We're always having fun here.
We are. So what a drive.
Brian Bardsma, Miles Bardsma, Brian's brother, kicks it in the middle of the field. Gurley with it across the 30. Good pursuit by Champion. And then there's going to be a flag on the backside of that. I think that was maybe Rayton Scotemere chasing around, but I think you're going to get a hold on Morgan Park. So, again, a lot of penalties on both sides, a lot of penalties on Morgan Park. And probably made this point more often than I should, but this is a team that, after you play a team, you become their biggest fan, because part of what gets you playoff points is the wins of the team you're playing against, right? So that's part of it. But, I mean, everybody in the city, everybody that's part of the Chicago Public League wants to see success out of these teams at the state level. And there's so much talent on this field. And, again, it's their 3rd game of the year. I want these guys to clean that up, because I want them to be able to go head-to-head against the best 5A teams in the state and win those games. So we know they have the talent in Thaxton as a quarterback to definitely do that. We know they have the receiving talent. We haven't even seen Chris Durr receiving tonight. So that's Lewis Hunt, Anthony Hood.
Good tackle.
So Hunt close to the first down, about 9 yards on that first down carry. Yep, Anthony's going to check out on that after that hard tackle. Pantoja in his spot. So actually, I think maybe he got cleated or something on it. I see him walking around a little bit gingerly, but he looks okay. So Thaxton, high snap to him.
Good penetration.
Bob Nefesim almost with the tackle in the backfield, and then Joseph Clayton with a little tomahawk on the backside of that. Joseph is down. Hopefully, let's see. Joseph, who's been out there just about the entire time. Let's see what he's got going on out there. So good job, Bob Nefesimi Opadele, the senior D-end, getting that penetration up the field, pushing Lewis Hunt out, and then getting, I think we got the water heading out there. So I think that's it's our first Sorelli's Dolphin cramping on the field timeout. I tell a quick story here. So last week it was a little bit hotter, a little bit more humid, and we had quite a few guys that went down with the different cramping issues during the game. And it was later in the game, we saw Jason Perez, who had an outstanding game, both defense and offense, but really flying around on the defense side of the ball. And Jason, if you watched any of our media day, I mean, he's just super engaging guy. Love him to death. And you see, he's out there. Trainer Sam is out there. Coach Finger is out there, and the referee is out there. And you can see those guys are like, it's taking longer than it should. And you can see everybody is out there sort of like talking and laughing. And I'm like, well, it's because Jason Perez is on the field. So I hear here was the conversation that went on. So the referee comes over to Perez, who's down on the field cramping up. And the referee looks at him and he says, you know, I played 4 years of Division I football, and I never cramped up. Jason looked up at him and said, guess you weren't playing hard enough. So, and that is Jason saying that in not at all a disrespectful way. Jason being just a great, sharp-witted, sharp kid.
He really is.
So I just, it was fun because we had talked about it on the broadcast, just about, what is that conversation? And then I heard that after the game, and I was like, that is classic Jason Perez. Just absolutely love it. So 6 minutes left here, 34-7.
Nice to see Joseph Clayton's okay.
Yep, so just we talked about, get the hot sauce. Get out the hot sauce or the pickle juice. So Thaxton with the handoff up the middle. That's a new running back in the game, doing a nice job, number 35, keeping his legs going before Yolich and Hobbs, I think, bring him down. So that is, let's see, I want to make sure that number 35, who I don't have on my roster, so I can't tell you who it is. But good looking run there. 8 yards. 8 yards on the pickup. Looks like, yes, I think the receiving core that Morgan Park has in is also all of their second stringers. Thaxton with that handoff to number 35.
Nice play.
Luke Yolich down below. Opadeli, champion. So nice job by Luke. He's played a really good job. Really nice job filling in that linebacker spot.
Third down here. Oh, sorry, first down.
First down. Well, it was, I think it was a little bit strange. I looked over, and I think maybe the yard marker was wrong on that, so that was a short yardage. Yeah, because he had picked up the 8.5, 9 on the first down. So Thaxton still in at quarterback. D-line, Harrison Gassa, Nick Dale, Baba Nefesimi Opadeli. Trying to see if they can shut down Morgan Park here. Running back to the outside. Perez did a nice job of penetration, forcing it back up the middle. Morgan Park still pushing around, but there is laundry on the field. So that was, I think they caught a hold at the second level because it's they're marking it where the hold happened, which was at the 48. So a spot foul is downfield a bit, so that'll back it up from that spot. They'll mark off 10 yards. 3:56 left here. So finally, so now I'm going to make tons of apologies here, and I'm glad that somebody put this in the chat here. So the off of Max Preps, the roster that Morgan Park provided, Amari Blockman Tyler is number 13. That is actually Chris Durr. That is the Slim Reaper. So
13 is.
Thank you very much, Spice Adams Jr. It is not. Nobody's fault here. We're just working off of the roster that was available to us, and so that makes a ton of sense. So we'll go back and try to edit all of this. That's Chris, the Slim Reaper Durr.
He just added a 1, I think. 13 instead of 3.
That could be. That could be. So again, we pumped him up a lot on the pregame. I'm going to do it again right now. Spice Adams Jr. So Chris Durr, 4.0 GPA, offers from Louisville, Army, Penn, among others. Came in the game, 15 catches, 208, 2 touchdowns. I think he's got 3 more added to his list today. So again, my apologies. We will, we'll ask Morgan Park to correct their roster, and then we'll all be on the same page. I'm sure we have Marcus Thaxton correct as the quarterback. So Thaxton with a 1st and long after that penalty. High snap, handoff up the middle.
Nice
Jason Perez. Come on now, we got to bring him down. So Perez met him in backfield. Yolich is going to take him down eventually. So good job of
open
pursuit.
field tackle.
Yep. And Yolich, Yolich hung with it there. So still the Morgan Park Mustangs going to stay behind the chains here for a 2nd and 14. 2:56 left. 2:56 left. So MJ Woods, Nick Dale, Baba Nefasimi Opadele on the line. Harrison Gassa at an outside linebacker spot. Handoff. Nice job right there. Nasir Rankin set the edge, came up in run support and made that play happen, where then Anthony Hood was able to make the tackle, as well as, I think, Dominic Duenas is in as a linebacker in Clayton's spot right now. But that was all Rankin. So Rankin playing that outside corner, and as a basketball player, but a kid who's played a lot of football. So Nasir Rankin grew up playing football, and it's one of the reasons that he and Rico Antonio D'Alessandro made their decision to play at Whitney Young was the opportunity to play both basketball and football. So both Rico and Nas are going to definitely see a lot of varsity time for Coach Slaughter this year. But also Nasir Rankin, I was talking to Anthony Hood about him. He was like, bro is going to be in D1 whatever he wants, right? So might be basketball where he is a point guard. But right there he showed why he could also do it on the football side of things, not just what he's able to do with his speed, but also the run support that he made there. Good to see Joseph Clayton back on the field. I think that might be, I didn't look through numbers of who we have down right now, but that also might be one of those situations. Anytime you see the Gatorade bottle.
See a cramping again, I hope.
Yeah.
I didn't catch the number either.
Might be either Perez or, looks like Jason Perez, yep. So good hand from the Dolphin faithful here as Jason makes his way off the field with trainer Sam. So again, on these guys, some of it is when these guys are playing both ways. So Jason's been out there every play of the game. It's tough to get hydrated when you're just coming over to the side. Maybe just we got to invent some sort of internal IV where we can just get these guys some fluids through the course of the game.
A lot of smart kids at Whitney Young High School. Maybe we can come up with that.
Yeah. In the incubator. So Thaxton, handoff. Clayton coming over on the pursuit.
Nice tackle
hopping
by
over.
Joseph.
I think he was cramping up as he was running after him. I saw him like little, but nice job coming around the backside of that to make the tackle. That brings up a 4th down. 1:55 left. I'm sure the Dolphins would like to
get the ball back.
Get the ball back and run a quick 2-minute drill. So 4th and 7. Morgan Park going to take this down about the 1:35 mark right now. Thaxton, the QB, inside handoff. Let's see, a hold, big time hold, but Joseph Clayton. Well, didn't make the.
Plays blown dead.
I think they just blew it dead because they're like, well, there's already a hold. That's not. We don't have to take anybody down. It was a little bit strange. Definitely a strange.
That was a really late
strange
flag
play.
For
if it would have been a procedure penalty, it was strange. But I don't know if they just I think they were saying that I think they said they blew the play dead because the officials are having a conversation right now. I think they're saying they blew the play dead, which was a 4th down play, which would turn the ball over to the Dolphins on downs. But it wasn't, so it must have been. We'll see if they'll put time back on the clock. So it was a procedure penalty on Morgan Park. So procedure penalty brings up 4th down. Morgan Park seems content to just keep the ball on the ground here. 34-7.
7-6 in the second half, Barry.
There you go.
Dolphins with the lead.
I think there's a prop bet out there for that, right? Doug Newman, is there a prop bet on second half? There's a fumble.
Get on it. Go.
Now make a tackle. Jolich, and then
Cleaned
a
it up.
swarm.
Nice.
Yep, great job. I think Pantoja on the end there. But Jolich has been having a heck of a game here in the middle.
He's been everywhere.
So we'll check. There's a Dolphin player down. Dylan Pericini. Dylan just rolling up saying, I'm just going to get off of here. I don't need trainer Sam. Yeah, I'm fine.
1 minute left here for number 12 to maybe put something together.
So a lot of the guys that just, again, cramping issues. So it's good. Jason Perez is back out there. Some of the younger linemen checking in. So you saw Pericini in. You also have Alexander Oshesky in. So Alex, number 50, is in the game. MJ Woods, Bob's and Efesimi Opadele still there. Vaughn Conrad checking in the game. So
got some second teamers in here. I like it.
Yep. So I saw Newman pretty fired up for Vaughn Conrad to get some varsity action after his 3 touchdown passes on JV this week. So he didn't have the towel on the back, and so I think Newman took his towel out, put it in on Vaughn, gave him a couple taps on his head, and said, "Hey, let's go dial one up, Vaughn." So Hood and Rankin checking out. Brandon Dockett checking in. Brian Pantoja in as well. Scott Clayton yelling something down to Joseph Clayton. Joseph doesn't want much to do with it right now, but seeing our guys on the sideline, Hood, Jolich. Hood must have some sort of cut on his face. Everybody's checking him out or something, but Vaughn Conrad. Let's watch Vaughn Conrad hand off to Maxwell Warner. Maxwell turning the corner. Nice job, Maxwell. Positive gain for Maxwell Warner. All right, Boucher, Coach Boucher. Let's
dial the pass for.
Yeah, absolutely. Vaughn Conrad.
For Vaughn here.
So Conrad, he's got Pantoja. I don't know all of his receivers. I'll get a look on that. Brandon Dockett down the seam. Nice job. Good job of Conrad kind of avoiding the rush.
Took his first varsity hit.
Yep, that's right. All right, so 27.4 seconds left in this game. So receivers out there, Pantoja, who has played really well the last 2 weeks. Brian Pantoja, only a sophomore, getting some time on both sides of the ball. So he's out there as a receiver. Another guy that we saw big time earlier in this game was a nice completion for Will the Thrill DeMille. All right, so Will DeMille III was out there, got a nice long completion. Conrad, nice job on the run. Go Vaughn, go!
Wheels.
Now get down. Nice job. Hey.
First down.
All right, Coach Finger, let's use
Vaughn Conrad.
Use some. Okay, I think Coach Finger's saying just spike the ball. So this, Dolphin fans, is what you have to look forward to in the future.
Class
Conrad,
of 26.
Absolutely. We talked about got a little Pat McHale in him. Got a little Patrick McHale there. He's got a little swagger.
Not afraid of the contact.
So Conrad spikes it
Spike.
with authority. Vaughn, you just have to. It does. You don't get style points for how high it bounces. I like it though.
Good balance.
Although I will say there is, and I don't know if Vaughn. I think I follow him on social media. In practice one day, Vaughn, I think it was like a 2-minute drill that he was running with the scout team, and he picked up a first down, and he had this amazing first down call against the first team defense, and it was like somebody put it on a loop. I think Coach O.D. the next day in film session put it on a loop. So Vaughn got some swagger. Love it. So second down after that, after clocking it there. So Conrad, he's got Maxwell Warner next to him. He's looking. He's throwing it over to the side, incomplete to Maxwell Warner, and that is the end of the game. Vaughn Conrad, he's doing all right. So, Jack, thank you so much for joining us. Remy, thanks for filming today for us. To Brian Barrett, thanks for the stats. We had a lot of time to fill on some of the penalties, on some of the slowness of play. So we talked a little bit, but we're back in action next Friday night, Rockne Stadium.
On the west side.
Yep, west side, right just off of Central. So if you're heading out, everyone, know that you're going to buck the Eisenhower rush hour traffic. Dolphins fall to 1-2. They're going to shake hands with the now 2-1 Morgan Park Mustangs. Again, Morgan Park ranked 15th in the Chicagoland area, ranked 5th in the state in Class A. They showed it today. Thaxton Durr, thank you very much. The Grim Reaper, a bunch of touchdowns for him. Also saw Tyshawn Griffin with a couple touchdowns. You know why the Illini are happy to get him next year.
Absolutely.
But some positives, some things to work on. We will join you again. We'll be on the air about 20 minutes before that game starts next week, Friday. Jack, thanks again for
Barry, thanks
being
for
on
your
the
great
call.
organization and everything you do for the Dolphin program. Nicely done.
It's fun. It's a labor of absolute love. All right, Brian is going to give us love it. Brian Barrett not messing around. Second half yards, Whitney Young 130, Morgan Park 103. So if your prop bet had the Dolphins outscoring and outgaining Morgan Park, cash that one in. So thanks, everybody. Have yourself an awesome weekend. Thank you again to Coach Dan Finger for everything that he does for us and for our players. To Athletic Director Chris Cassidy, Ricky Harris, Principal of Whitney Young, and for all of you, our faithful Dolphin fans. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great weekend.